Okay, imagine being thrown into a high security prison where gangs control the power, every inmate has their own agenda, heck, even prison guards cannot be trusted, and you only have 21 days to escape before your execution. That's the situation waiting for you in Back to the Dawn. So if you've seen this game before and you're thinking about picking it up, here's everything that you need to know before you buy it. Thank you Clouded Leopard Entertainment Games for sponsoring today's video, and you can check Back to the Dawn for yourself using the link below the like button. But a quick disclaimer first, the footage you're seeing is from my Nintendo Switch 2. I've also limited this footage to the first couple of days since a lot can happen as time passes by and I don't want to spoil things for you. So this is a story-rich RPG where the narrative unfolds inside a high security prison that's controlled by different factions with their own inclinations. The game throws you into decision making right away. Do you want to play as Thomas, a fox who's a journalist that got drawn into the city's shadowy underbelly while investigating a story? Or do you prefer playing as Bob, an undercover detective posing as a criminal who infiltrates prison for a top secret mission? After choosing your character, you also get to pick their background story. Thomas can be a broadcast journalist, undercover journalist, or a war correspondent, whereas Bob can be a SWAT officer, a detective, or a beat cop. Each option gives you different starting specialties along with a positive ability and a negative effect that coincides with the story you've chosen. So I decided to play as Thomas with the broadcast journalist backstory. That gave me an edge in conversations as I had more charisma and an extra 30% when raising rapport with others. We're gonna talk more about the rapport in a bit. However, it also meant that I have some drawbacks. I cannot shower without using soap, and I would lose 1 mind point when I search through trash cans without using gloves. As for my specialties, I had affinity, meaning only one focus point is gonna be consumed when I befriend prisoners, which is going to be useful because I know I'm gonna need lots of allies. And my second specialty is that I'm a bookworm, which means I gain 2 extra points when performing knowledge actions, and this would increase by 1 for every book that I read. After that, you choose the difficulty level. The developers recommend Central District mode. There's also an easier mode called New Eden that you can choose if you're new into these games or you just want to play this casually. On the opposite side, if you're feisty and you want to go for a little bit more, intensity, Skid Road mode is the one for you. I was pretty intimidated already. I was like, should I go with New Eden? But then I was like, you know what? Let's do District and hope for the best. And here we are, the game opens up with these comic-looking cutscenes. I learned that Thomas, the character that I chose to play as, was investigating illegal sewage dumping that the authorities have been turning a blind eye to. And now that the mayor is running for a re-election, his campaign manager asks me to change the details on my current journalistic report. So basically, he's just trying to buy my silence. So I said no, I declined the offer, and what do you know? Police show up out of nowhere and I'm taken in cuffs because they found illegal stuff that was planted in my car, and now I'm in jail and I have 21 days to clear my name. I'm keeping so many details out of this because I want you to be able to experience the game for yourself if you pick it up. So I don't want you to know too much about the story, but I'm also gonna give you like a little bit of examples just here and there again from the first 2 days so you kind of get the gist of what we're doing. Now every day is a ticking clock, and so you're gonna find that there's a lot of attention to detail in your daily routine. So even with things like when you eat, you gotta remember you have to use the bathroom afterwards. Or when you want to brush your teeth, you're gonna need toothpaste and toothbrush. Not only that, but you also need to make sure you shower once every 2 days, or otherwise you're gonna stink and the prisoners are just simply not gonna want to talk to you. Some items can be obtained from the guard as part of your weekly supplies, but others are gonna require money. And here's the thing, you start with barely any money, so you're gonna start picking up jobs in the prison to earn your keep. In the beginning, you start with ironing. To do that, you gotta complete this minigame here 3 times, and after that your character can do their job on their own, but you risk earning the regular wage rather than earning more if you excel in the minigame. So with the ironing minigame, each clothing piece has a specific amount of time to iron, so you have to count down in real life and stop ironing at the right time. Now as you can see here, the first 3 seconds you see the watch, but after that it disappears, so you're just gonna be counting. And what I ended up doing is just count out loud, otherwise I would lose track and I would not get any of the pieces done right. And as you play more and complete more jobs, you can earn good conduct credits. You can use these to get access to different things like unlocking better paying jobs, getting more phone calls per day, using the computer for longer, or even moving to a different cell. All of these will give you an edge in how you play strategically. Every single decision matters, like making more calls to the outside might help you out, or moving to a different cell where you're gonna be alone is gonna be less risky for you because you just don't have to worry about your cellmate. And this brings us to the gameplay routine. You have daily routines that you have to follow every single day. So how do they play out? In the morning, the head count begins and some announcements can be made. After that, you can roam around and meet others, make phone calls, build friendships, and work. Then it's lunchtime. You'll need to eat, otherwise you're gonna starve. You can choose what to eat. Bread is free, but you can choose to pay more and get something else which can increase your stats. And even during lunchtime, you're already starting to make choices. For example, you can choose to split food with someone to get closer to them, or you can reach a point where you're strong enough and can intimidate others to give you their food. You see, in this game, NPCs are crucial. There's plenty of dialogue to read through, and you're gonna find the NPCs and the stuff that they want you to do pretty questionable. So this Lynx, for example, calls himself a relationship artist, and he wants your help to seduce staff and inmates, so he wants you to join in on the scheme. Perry the platypus, not that platypus, claims that he became rich through a Treasure Island investment project, and now he's inviting you to join his plan to raise capital. There's this capybara here who used to be a police detective but now is incarcerated and is worried. Again, I'm keeping things as shallow as I can be, but I still want you to see like the variety in the NPCs. When you're roaming around, you can listen in on others' conversations and learn some recipes from them. Or you can befriend them so you can learn more about their background story. Some you can befriend right away, others require you have a specific amount of reputation, especially if it's one of the higher ranking members of different gangs. Which, by the way, talking about gangs, you can accept quests from them to earn money, but also note that most of these quests will have you, screw over someone else for it, so you really have to calculate your decisions. For example, at one point, I wanted access to the TV room just like everybody else, and turns out that I can get skills from it. However, the TV room is controlled by the Sharp Tooth Gang, and to join them, I was asked to hide a bag under Bill the Buffalo's bed, and surely you know by now that this is very risky, so I was really stressed out. But sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. There are so many decisions that you can make. The devs have the narrative itself span over 500,000 words, with over 100 handcrafted quests, and multiple escape routes, each with their own risks and rewards. When you're interacting with inmates and staff, you can chat with them, you can give them gifts, you can trade items, and if your chat goes well, you're gonna see this emoji pop up, and there's gonna be this number next to it that shows you how many friendship points you've gained. So remember how I told you about the rapport? Pretty much this game refers to friendships as a rapport, so you build rapport with others instead of being like, oh, you build friendships with others. By having a better friendship with someone, you're gonna be able to obtain more items to trade with them. You can also romance some of the characters. And speaking of trading items, you have to remember that different items have different violation numbers. So if the guards find something with a high violation on you, you're gonna be in trouble. You do have limited inventory space on you, but there's this cupboard in your cell where you can keep items in there. And there's like a tiny little space where you can hide stuff that are, a little bit of a high violation rank, and you just can keep them out of everybody's sight. Back to the NPCs, you can look at them to see what their job is, what they have in their pockets, which cell they're in, if they are a gang member, etc. And with time, you can become stronger so you can assault them or learn abilities to extort them or even steal from them. Everything that you do is gonna take up time. Many actions also require stamina, which can be gained back by resting, sleeping, or eating. And when you befriend NPCs, you lose focus points, which you can also regain. So let's go back to the routine and what you can do during the day. After lunch, from 1 p.m. till 6 p.m., it's recreation time where you can go outside for fresh air, and you cannot return back to the main building until 5:30. During recreation, you will run into encounters with different dialogue options. Some have different checks where you roll dice to see if you succeed or fail. For example, on my first day, one prisoner tried to extort me. I'm just like, bro, I'm just here. I'm trying to go to the other side of the yard. But yeah, my first dice roll roll failed, so I used one focus point, and thank goodness it succeeded on the second roll, so he backed off. And in this outside area, you can work out, but everything comes at a price, so you gotta pay in the beginning because the gym is controlled by one of the gang members. And when you work out, you have this little mini game where you have to input the right button sequence as it appears on the screen while the timer goes down. If you get it right 3 times, just like the laundry game, you can let your character do things on their own. Apart from that, you also have this chapel here. You can also find weeds that you get rid of, and then plants can be harvested in their place, which you can use as medicine and for different items. And this ties to the crafting system here because you can use required ingredients and stamina points to make different things. After recreation time, it's time for dinner. You can have waffles for free or pay extra to get a dollop of cream, and by then you're gonna realize that the game rewards your curiosity. For example, when I interacted with a map on the door to the laundry room, I unlocked access to the prison map. Or when I opened a gate in the cafeteria and I knocked on the door, I learned that there's a back room that I can investigate and see how I can use it for my advantage. After dinner time, you can take a shower, talk to more NPCs, trade, craft, watch TV, and more. Then the prison goes into lockdown, so you gotta go back to your cell to sleep. And guess what? If you sleep without a blanket, for example, you're gonna struggle and you're gonna be really cold. And you also might deal with nightmares, so if your dice roll fails, your next day is not gonna be the best because your stats are gonna take a hit. And eventually you can counteract the lockdown so you don't have to stay in your cell, but I'm gonna leave that for you to figure out what you're gonna do. And as you play and you gain more experience points, you can then invest those back into one of your main stats, which are strength, agility, intelligence, or charisma. So you can make yourself be stronger, or you can get more health points, or even make use of the skills that you will learn when you watch TV. So if you've reached this point of the video, I would assume that you're pretty interested in this game and you want to know, is this game for you? So we're gonna go with this game is for you if, not for you if, and my verdicts. So this game is for you if you enjoy story-rich RPGs where your choices carry so much weight, and you gotta remember that you need to take your time to learn complex systems. It's for you if you have the patience for that, because this is a slow burn. You're gonna have to navigate prison factions, build relationships, there's lots of dialogue, and all of this is for you to figure out how the escape routes are gonna be. It's also for you if you love replayability value, because again, you have so many different endings, so depending on who you play as, what you do, every action is going to end up with a completely different ending. However, this game is not for you if you prefer faster-paced games or something more straightforward with lots of hand-holding. Your time in the beginning can feel overwhelming. There's a lot of dialogue and you need patience to learn all of the game's mechanics and figure out what routine will work out for the type of escape that you're planning for. As for me, Back to the Dawn is a game that rewards curiosity and careful decision-making. Yes, it's a bit of a slow burn, but it ended up being a pleasant surprise. The variety of the systems that I played with and seeing the narrative unfold with so many choices and replayability value makes me see this as a game that is definitely worth checking out. Thank you again, Clouded Leopard Entertainment Games, for sponsoring today's video. If this video was helpful, remember to squish the like button. Let me know down in the comments what you think about this one. Thanks to my YouTube and Patreon bubblies who make videos like this possible, and a shout out goes to The Game Dimension, Jake Logan, Stella, Yugoslav, Emmy, and Jordy for going the extra mile. Until next time, stay bubbly.